Everyone loves a slow-cooked Sunday roast, but who would have thought you could have a feast this impressive during the week? Golden chicken with rosemary and lovely crispy bacon, crunchy potato gratin flavoured with onions, parmesan and just a little bit of cream. All served on a bed of fresh baby leeks, spinach and peas. This is an amazing meal for four, and if you do what I do, yes, you can do it in under 15 minutes. First of all, get your 15-minute meals head on, kettle on, pans out. Our little saviour today is the food processor on a fine slicer. We're using a nice Maris Piper, mid-size, so it goes through the food processor really easily. So plop the potatoes in, keeping the pressure on, and they'll slice beautifully in about 10 seconds. In a matter of seconds, wafer thin, really, really nice, and that's what we want. So get this in and top it up with boiling water from the kettle. And that'll be boiling and cooking straight away. Give it a season of salt, lid on top. We'll cook that for about 4 minutes just to take the rawness out of the potatoes. In that time, get yourself 2 or 3 nice mid-sized white onions. Just get the tip of the knife under the skin and just pull it like that. If your onions are big, just use 2 of them. So in with the onions. Rattle those through. OK. So now, notice I've got a tray on here. We're going to go into this tray with a little bit of olive oil, just a couple of tablespoons. And I'm going to use half a little cube of organic chicken stock cube. That's going to act as a seasoning and also just get that chicken flavour really going. And we're going to start frying these off to go nice and sweet. A small pinch of salt and pepper. Give it a good old stir. And then herb-wise, I'm going to use sage, sage and onion stuffing, nice sort of old-fashioned, homey flavours. Oh, they're so good. So I'm just going to rip these in. You can chop them up if you want. And if the stalks are tender, you can use those, no problem at all. Just rip them up. That little stock cube has sort of disintegrated and just become part of the kind of flavour and the seasoning, which is great. I'm trying to avoid crying at the moment. Onions always do it to me. My midweek Sunday lunch vibe is coming together nice. The onions will take just a few minutes to go sweet and caramelly. The spuds are almost done, and now I can get on with my golden chicken. So what I want to do is create some nice basic flavour. OK, so get your greaseproof paper out. I've got 4 nice chicken breasts. So in with some salt and pepper. And then I'm going to use rosemary with the chicken because I want to kind of define the flavours. I want the potatoes to be nice and sagey. I want the chicken to be nice and rosemary. So as I'm looking over, I'm seeing the pan here with the onions, it's on full whack. It's starting to catch a little bit. It's like, because onions have got, lots of natural sugars in, so they will burn and catch really quickly. And a little splash of water is no bad thing. And straight away you'll see, can you see the colour just coming from the caramelising of the onions? Look at that. You control that. You're in control. Back to this chicken here. So lay the chicken out to one side. You want it all to be evenly sort of seasoned and got the rosemary on it like that. Then put the greaseproof paper over the top like that. Then just get anything flat and heavy, let's say a rolling pin, and give it a nice little bash. Just giving it nice, positive taps. Because it's going to pound the seasoning and the rosemary into the chicken. Look at that. There you go. We'll add a little bit of olive oil to a hot pan. Just a tablespoon, and we'll go in rosemary side down into that pan. The breasts need about 4 minutes on each side. Now, normally with a gratin, the spuds are oven cooked low and slow, but by parboiling them, the potatoes are much softer and ready to soak up all of those lovely flavours. They're actually cooked already, right? They're starting to fall apart. That's no bad thing. Now we're going to throw them in with these beautiful onions. If you look back in the onion pan now, we've got colour, and of course we've created some nice sweetness in the pan. So we're going to throw the potatoes in. And again, I love keeping the skin on. Much more rustic and delicious. So it's going to start catching in a minute, but that's fine because we'll have it in the oven before you can say pomme dauphinoise. So mix that up. Oh, it's kind of got the smell of French onion soup, which I absolutely love. Lay it out in one layer, and you could bake it off like that. I want to make it a bit more indulgent, but we're being clever about how we use the kind of naughty but nice things. This recipe is less heavy than most, and it's still full of flavour. There's a suggestion of cream right where you want it on top, instead of just drenching it. So add just 100 millilitres of single cream. That's plenty. About 30 grams of Parmesan. Just give it a nice dusting over the surface. The great thing about Parmesan for me is actually a little goes a long way. And I almost treat it like a seasoning. And we don't need loads of cheese, just enough to sort of coat the very, very top. And it's going to go golden. 30 grams. Happy days. For me, a great gratin is all about soft, creamy potatoes with a really crispy top. So 5 minutes under the grill is superb, which leaves me enough time to get back to the chicken. Look at that. Really, really nice. You can see, like, the pink stuff is representing the raw, the white is the cooked. So you can almost see it cooking. You're starting to understand how long meat really takes to cook. So chicken is 3/4 there. Gratin is now going into kind of crispy and golden mode. And now, in the same pot that we did the potatoes in, we're going to make a lovely little veg dish. Dead simple. I'm going to start off with leeks. So over here, we've got my leek. Just going to take the ends off of the leek. And then simply, you know, just slice up the leek. Little bit of olive oil goes in. We go straight in with some leek. Because it's high-sided, they'll be sort of steaming on the top as well. This chicken's basically done now, but I want to sort of just put an edge on it with 2 lovely humble rashers of smoky British bacon. Gorgeous. Cut it into little lardons, and that will start going crispy straight away, which will be lovely, and it will work so well with the rosemary. Just sprinkle them around the pan. Give it a good old shake. And of course, when that bacon starts to cook, it's going to really, really start doing some amazing flavours. So in with these leeks, I'm going to put in a bag of spinach, 200 grams, already washed, goes straight in, no mucking around. So that'll start wilting down in a matter of seconds. Love that. Spinach takes no time at all. So 200 grams of lovely sweet peas. Again, they just need to be cooked for a couple of minutes. Really green, really juicy, sweet and poppy. Can you see how this spinach is cooking down? It's literally just going ooh as we talk. But that's pretty much going. And then in the oven, it's looking good. I'm not going to show you what it looks like. I'm just going to start plating out now. The greens will make a lovely base for the chicken. So pile up your veg, sprinkle with the peas, and layer with the fragrant golden chicken breasts. The nice thing about kind of battering that chicken like that is the rosemary kind of cooks in to the chicken as well as the seasoning. So you know that that's going to taste good. And bacon and peas, very, very nice. So that's one part, very nice. Now, our gratin. Look at that. A wonderful potato gratin. Beautiful rosemary bacon chicken. Spring greens. Gorgeous. Wouldn't say no to that. This is one mama of a plateful, all in just 15 minutes. I love the way that that rosemary just gets pounded into the chicken. Wow. The thing is, what do you expect me to say? Oh no, that crispy, smoky bacon chicken's terrible. Oof. Oh, and that lovely gratin. Oh, it's disgusting. I can't believe it. How can you argue with it? It's proper. So good. A real simple dish, but you'd never think you could do that in 15 minutes. Yum. Chinese chicken with dreamy coconut buns. I absolutely love this dish. I wouldn't imagine in a million years, as a Brit, that I'd be able to do something as delicious as this in 15 minutes. We're going down the Chinese dim sum vibe. This is such an exciting dinner. Something different, but really, really easy. The chicken is steamed in a lovely Hoisin marinade. Juicy and delicious, it's served with vibrant fresh veg, homemade cucumber pickle, and all the dipping sauce trimmings. And the real stars of the meal are these light, fluffy coconut buns. Soft, sweet, and oh so satisfying. Dim sum dinner for 4 in just 15 minutes. First job, the buns. Coconut buns, soft, fluffy, you can just rip them open, stuff it inside with lovely chicken and stuff like that. You will love these. So I've got my regular blade inside the processor here. In there, I'm going to put 1 tin of coconut milk. So I'm just going to take that off. It's reduced fat coconut milk because it can be a little bit calorific, but it's also incredibly tasty. What I'm going to do as well is use this as a measuring jug, and I love recipes like that. So to 1 tin of coconut milk, I'm going to do 2 tins of self-raising flour. So it's the easiest recipe to remember in the whole wide world. Even if you come back from the pub, you can still remember to make these buns, which makes me very happy. I want a nice pinch of salt going in there just to season it. Wazz it up, and you're going to get a fantastic dough. Now it comes together. I love, love, love this recipe. It's fantastic. Look, so it's basically wound it up straight away. It's even cleaned the side of the bowls for you. Next, we're going to lightly work the dough. Give it a dusting of flour and then roll it up and divide into 8. I'm using doubled up muffin cases. Now this will help the buns withstand the heat of the steamer while the hot, moist air activates the self-raising flour so they rise and become beautifully soft and fluffy. Just put about 2 inches of water into a steamer like that. It's on full wax, so that's going to start boiling really, really quick. So I want to get a whole load of these. I've just thrown them in, right? And let's just jam a whole layer of these lovely coconut steam buns in here. We're going to cover it. 10 minutes of steaming is going to produce you something really light, fluffy, beautiful. It's going to grow. It's going to kind of like float up. It's going to be fantastic. So the buns are on. The next job, the chicken. To keep it soft and juicy, it will be steamed with the veg in the second layer of the steamer. But first, I want to give it some big flavours with a super quick marinade. We've got 2 beautiful breasts of chicken. Just slice yourself nice lengths, about 1 centimetre thick. It's going to cook in a matter of minutes, 4, 5 minutes. Steam is surprisingly fast. Don't go thinking it's sort of like gentle. Like, it really does cook nice and fast. So I'm just going to really encourage some insane flavour. So I'm going to do that by adding some little friends to the story. So I want to get the chicken in here. Going to get rid of my board. I'm going to wash my hands. And then what I'm going to do is add a lovely little flavour on the whole dim sum vibe, China, Hoisin sauce. You can get it everywhere. It's a really easy condiment. I want to grab my lime, really put some weight on there and sort of crush up those little cells of lime and then squeeze that over the chicken here. So you've got the limey flavour, the Hoisin sauce, and the Hoisin sauce has got all those wonderful sort of 5-spice flavours that I just absolutely adore. So let's get the chicken here, just season it lightly with a little salt, and then we're going to mix that up, coat it all. So it's a lovely little marinade there. And also chicken and mushrooms, really good friends. All around the country we can get lovely selection of Asian mushrooms. You can get these little enoki mushrooms here, just take the stalk off, and just look how beautiful they are. They're kind of like crazy little aliens. Absolutely beautiful. Dump them in there. With these ones, you can just half them, you can quarter them, you can leave them whole if they're sort of a nice size. So just tear up those mushrooms, basically. We'll also toss that in the beautiful Hoisin sauce. And these are all going to steam together. So I've got the other layer of the steamer here. And I don't think we steam enough, actually. Steaming is a wonderful way to cook. Gentle, keeps things like chicken and fish so moist and delicious. So once you've got this tossed in all that lovely flavour, just put that into the steamer, sort of make it flat. There's no point in cutting chicken thin if you're going to double it up. Now, the only other thing to do is I want some greens, I want some freshness, I want some contrast in there. So I've got some lovely tender stem broccoli. Just take the ends off. They can be a little bit dry sometimes, right? And then all I want to do is just put some of these over the top here, and that's going to steam absolutely beautifully. I want to put this underneath our buns. Get yourself a tea towel, put it over your 2 layers, pick it up nice and safely. I want to put this now at the bottom, so the chicken's getting full kind of aggressive heat from the steam, and then my buns are going to go to the top. I don't want to put the chicken on the top because then the chicken juices are going to drip on my buns. And I don't like things dripping on my buns because I want my buns to be clean and fluffy and gorgeous. I can leave that to steam away while I start the next job. A super simple crunchy pickle that you can make in minutes. When I used to work in Japan, they used to make these incredible quick pickles that were amazing. Obviously they were using knife skills. They just mow through a whole load of carrots, radishes, mooli, cucumber, cabbage, anything you can imagine. They would just finely slice, and they would use this method that I'm going to show you now that was fantastic. I want to show you it with a speed peeler. Right? Most people have got one of these in their house. And instead of just peeling boring old potatoes, you know, you can take a cucumber or any veg and make it silky smooth, beautiful, thin. If you're the worst cook in the world and you've got the worst knife skills, you can still produce a delicate, fantastic, beautiful texture like that. And we don't want the middle really because it's just water. So we'll get rid of that. And then with this cucumber in here, we're going to pour in about 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and then we're going to put in a little bit of rice wine vinegar, but you could absolutely use white wine vinegar if you want. About a tablespoon goes in. I'm going to take some coriander. You can tear it, you can rip it, you can do what you want to it. So just toss it like a salad, and then it gets a little bit different. Then we start scrunching it. You know, almost like well, we're making a mud pie when you're a kid. You're scrunching it and you're forcing the soy and all that lovely perfume of the herbs and stuff like that. And then you can take it up in your hands and you can squeeze it, right? And of course, that soy is bringing out a lot of the water from the cucumber. And then you end up with a little cucumber like this. Oh, incredible. It's really elegant. And there's actually nothing wrong with the juice. We'll pour that over just a little bit. So, crunchy cucumber pickle done. Next job, a few more sides and sauces to serve with the buns for delicious dipping and dunking. I've got a pan on here. It's on a really low heat. I'm going to put some sesame seeds in. So in the next minute and a half, I just want to create some heated up sesame seeds, get them golden, and we're going to dip our sort of lovely hoisin chicken in that with the buns and stuff like that. In here, I want something fresh and hot and delicious. You know when you go and get sushi, you have the little bit of ginger on the side. So I'm going to pull this ginger out and just pack it into this little dish. So we've got our pickles. Pour a bit more hoisin sauce into a bowl to use as a dip. Place some quarters of lime in and around the place and dish up those hot golden sesame seeds. Okay, you want to see my buns? You see my buns. And they're good buns, aren't they? So imagine taking this to the table. Boom! And you get this as well. The chicken and the broccoli. And look, we want to see what's going on under here. Let's make way for the chick. There we go. Finally, top everything off with the sliced chili and a bold scattering of coriander. And there you go. It's beautiful food. It's a little bit surprising. That is so simple. That is so simple. This is a bit of fun, but when you eat it together, it's brilliant. Really, really good. Delicious hoisin chicken with fluffy coconut buns in just 15 minutes. It finger-licking, proper, ridiculous, tasty food. So many beautiful flavours. Really, really good. This is definitely food to make you happy. And I think you can be really proud of that if you rattle that out in 15 minutes. I love the Italian country cooking flavours of this dish. Based on a rustic stew, the golden chicken, earthy mushrooms and smoky pancetta combine in a wonderful rich tomato and red wine sauce, creating big, hearty, slow-cooked flavours in a fraction of the time. A bold sauce like this partners brilliantly with whole wheat pasta to create a delicious, balanced meal for four. Warm your cockles on this 15-minute twist on a great classic chicken cacciatore. Okay, cacciatore means the hunter. Okay, so it's the hunter stew. That's where the inspiration for this dish came from in my time in Tuscany. And I got cooked for by the hunters, and it was lovely. Classically, I'm doing chicken today because that's what people love. I've got chicken thighs, 4 of them. But they would have put anything they've caught or anything that was about, from pork to wild boar to hare, rabbit to pheasant, quail, you name it, it would have been in a hunter stew because it would have been whatever they would have caught. The one thing we haven't got is time. You know, one of the key parts of a cacciatore stew is hours and hours of blipping away. We haven't got that, so we've got to be clever and we want to bring those flavours together. So first up, I've got the chicken thighs sliced about 1 centimetre across, and then I'm going to do them about 1 centimetre across the other way. So we've got little chunks, okay? From that point, we're going to go a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, go into the pan. You can see it's hot. As per usual with 15-minute meals, we have got no time to wait for nothing. We've got pans on, we've got kettles on, so we're going to give that a good old stir straight away. Of course, with hot pans, it's like exciting cooking. You can hear everything going on. So let's mix that chicken up beautifully. I'm going to get rid of my chicken board and knife and wash my hands. And then we go on to the next bit of the story. Now, the next bit of the story is mushrooms. Come and have a look at these. Of course, in Italy, they would have had foraged, beautiful mushrooms, chanterelle, porcini, you know, it just depends on the time of year. I've got some standard mushrooms from the supermarket. I'm going to use 125 grams of oysters. Just put them in whole. Absolutely gorgeous. Then I've got some little chestnut mushrooms here. I'm just going to cut these into little quarters, so keep things quite chunky. Of course, mushrooms have incredible flavour, so to cook them with the chicken is going to be a pleasure. So stir in the mushrooms. The pan's on full whack. I think it's important actually at this stage to add a good pinch of salt and pepper, because the mushrooms, they're going to start absorbing all of this. So at this point in time, just a couple of nice sprigs of rosemary. Just hold it at the top, pull down like that, and take the little top bits off. Look at that, it's alive.
Already fantastic flavours on the go, and now a few shortcuts to create delicious depth and hearty rustic taste.
Anchovies are a beautiful thing. Just 2 fillets. These 2 little bad boys here, in there, will just melt away, and it'll be like a little kind of stock cube gone in, or a turbocharger flavour. So, we're looking good here. Next to the story, let's add some sweetness. There's a couple of key ingredients. You know, these are the sort of things that you can have in your larder. These peppers here, you only need 2 of them, have been lovingly roasted and peeled. They smell incredible. I'm just going to scrunch these in my hand, through my fingers like that. I'm then going to go into olives. So pick out some of these olives. We don't need much, just about 8 olives will be more than enough. So now we're going to go in with some pancetta, just 4 rashers, and of course this is smoky and meaty and gorgeous. Just centimetre slices. Let's mix that in. That sauce base can be left to caramelise and sizzle away while I get going with the pasta. We're going to use a whole wheat pasta, which is absolutely gorgeous. You know, I know it sounds like the healthy option, which it is, and we're trying to do a little bit more of that in 15-minute meals because we want it to be everyday food and get some of the good stuff in there. We want to definitely season that water, make it fly in like that, and we'll put our lid on and let that crack on. OK, so the pasta's doing good. We've got this lovely, lovely bit of colour happening here. Couple of cloves of garlic. I'm going to use my garlic crusher. I'm not going to bother peeling it because it takes too much time. I'm just going to put it in. So we're going to get some lovely flavours straight in. Just crush that through like that. Stir that in. Then I want some chilli. And just slice this up. Get that in like that. And then add a lovely bit of Chianti. Now, just a swig of wine is all you need. Half a glass goes in. It'll take all the stickiness off the bottom. Can you see that? So you've got lovely flavour there. And then I'm going to put straight in, as soon as that's gone, go in with 1 jar of passata. That's 700 millilitres of lovely tomatoes. Give it a little shake, and that'll come to the boil, and we'll just chug that along. As soon as this beautiful pasta's ready, we'll start serving that. While the pasta's on and the sauce is blipping away, I can just kick back now and leave that gorgeous cacciatore to cook down and become deeper and richer by the minute.
I'm going to prep a little bit of basil. This is because I've got a bit of time now to chill. That's coming to the boil. Pasta's a couple of minutes away. I pick the little leaves in the middle, right, for sprinkling on top to look pretty. And then these big ones, I'm going to put in a pile to chuck in the sauce. You know, obviously, pasta's fantastic for 15-minute meals. It really is, because it kind of, you put the pasta in and that's your timer there. You know, you don't want to overcook pasta, so you've got to move on. You know, at this point in this story, really it's about creating a kind of quite a crude sauce. I mean, obviously, if you turned it right down and left it for an hour, you've got a completely different kind of sauce, more of a ragu. What we want is big flavour, very quick, that's delicious, and serve it in a way that you want to eat it when you come home from work at the end of the day. OK, let's just check the pasta. I can feel the pasta is nearly there. Let's have a little try of this sauce. It's boiling away nice and fast. Oh! And so it should taste good. It's got chili, it's got all those beautiful pancetta, the chicken, the wine. That is good. We're going to rip in that basil and just stir that in. Absolutely gorgeous. And then I'm just going to grate a little Parmesan. You don't need loads, but it's really nice to have a bit of Parmesan with this dish. So about 40 grams will be lovely. I'm just going to put that in a little pile like this. But you can tell, look, that's just the end of the Parmesan like that. So by weight, nothing really. But these fine grater just does a beautiful job of making a little go a long way. OK, so let's get yourself a nice big old platter. Whack it on there.
Once the spaghetti's ready, drain it and serve it fast. You can't hang around with pasta. The cacciatore is looking rich and dark red now. Gorgeous. Spoon it over the pasta and sprinkle over those delicate basil leaves and the grated Parmesan. A fabulous take on a hunter stew in just 15 sweet little minutes.
Let's give it a good old toss up. Look at that. It's rich, it's dark, so good. Beautiful. It's kind of the ultimate comfort food. It's like a big old hug. Well, you know what? The whole wheat pasta's really good with sauces that have got real oomph. Chili, red wine, tomatoes, olives, anchovies, all the bacon, the chicken. The whole wheat pasta's brilliant with that sort of stuff. So here, salute to the lovely Tuscan hunters. Thanks for the inspiration. Great.
Everyone loves a comforting bowl of broth, and my minestrone is a classic Italian soup, crammed with pasta and delicious seasonal veg. I'm serving it with a succulent chicken breast poached in the soup and spiked with an awesome homemade salsa verde. You have got a turbocharged flavour explosion for 4. And you can get this hearty lunch or supper on the table in just 15 minutes.
So we'll crack on, it's all happening in one pot. I'm going to start the story off with pancetta, about 35 grams. Slice it up into sort of little matchsticks, like that. And then in a pan, it's on a medium-high heat. I'm trying to be clever with textures and flavour. So go into the pan with a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, then immediately in with the pancetta. It's going to go golden, the smoky, bacony flavour is going to go straight into that oil, and we're going to go in with the rosemary as well. Fantastic savoury herb, beautiful. When you fry it like this in oil, they kind of almost turn into miniature sort of crisps. So can you see how quickly we've turned that pancetta into like a real beautiful colour? I'm going to pull it out, and that flavoured oil is going to be the base to my minestrone, OK? So see how lovely and golden and fantastic that is? So first bit done.
I don't want the bacon and rosemary to go soggy, so these will be just sprinkled onto the poached chicken at the end. Next, the base of the soup.
So minestrone, of course, is all about celebrating vegetables. A couple of carrots, don't bother peeling them, just give them a wash, take the ends off. We're going to whack those in. A couple of sticks of celery can go in there as well. And then peel an onion in half. And the beginning of our minestrone is going to start classically. The Italians would call this a sofrito, which is, you know, carrots, celery, onions. So we'll whack this through. I've got that on a thick slicer, so it's kind of coming out like this. Nice chunks. So let's put this back on the heat. There's bacon and rosemary fat in this pan. So the beginning of our soup starts with those fragrant vegetables, and we can turn the heat right up now. So we're going to be thundering along. We can have a little pinch of salt and pepper. I'm going to be using some chicken stock cube. So while that's thundering away and frying, I'm going to put the slicer back on and get onto some other veggies. I want to just hack the cauliflower up into a quarter. If you put a massive piece of cauliflower in there, it ain't going to cook in 15 minutes. If you ram it through the prep machine, you're going to be laughing. So half a cauliflower. I'm only going to use half a broccoli. Just take the lovely light heads off, and then you're left with this, which often is underrated. But actually, this broccoli stalk is gorgeous. And if you peel it here, you can put it in, shred it into salads and all sorts of things. It's lovely. And we're done. So we're going to go into the minestrone with these lovely sliced veggies. You can see there's already colour, you know, because the pan's so hot. I can smell the bacon and rosemary. We go in with the cauliflower and the broccoli, slightly harder vegetables. So good stuff. We have got 8 vegetables in this dinner. So it's a wonderful way of getting the good stuff into people.
Add 1.5 litres of boiling water and let that cook away on a medium-high heat.
And then, of course, with a minestrone, classically, we're going to have pasta in there. Now, if you're like me, and probably everyone else in the world, your little cupboard at home with your pasta in, you know, you get home, oh, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. Oh, I know I only need half a packet for so many people. Oh, I'm a bit hungry, I'll put a bit more in. And all of us end up with little waifs and strays of pasta. Instead of having all these packets everywhere, I just dump it into one little jar, and that becomes my little minestrone pasta dish. So random leftover pasta, spaghetti, whatever can go into this, just a handful. Throw that in the water. And then also, I just want to mix it up a little bit. A little handful of basmati rice. Again, so we've got rice in there, pasta in there, like the smoky bacon flavour in there, rosemary, beautiful stock, veggies. So we're building up a beautiful little, you know, fast story there, which is going to taste delicious. 2 chicken breasts here, and I'm just going to plop them in to the broth like this, Obviously, it's surrounded by boiling stock already. It's going to be gorgeous.
Minestrone is often flavoured with a chicken or a ham stock, and cooking the chicken breast like this is a really clever way of getting everything sharing flavours. So while they poach away, I can crack on with my salsa verde.
The lovely thing about salsa verde, it's great with roast potatoes, meats, steaks, vegetables, on little crostinis. You know, it's a really great all-rounder. First thing that goes in is a little wodge of parsley. Goes into the bowl. Then, mint. Mint is so fantastic. I'm going to go to the top of the bunch, rip that off, straight in as well. Then we're going to go in with a clove of garlic in that salsa verde. That is more than enough to give that real hum and sort of pong and perfume. Because, you know, if you think about things like aioli or garlic mayonnaise, you know, when you put it in like a fish stew or a broth, the smell just goes like that, and that's what we want to try and achieve. So the garlic goes in, and then over to the pantry here, absolute classic flavours. Capers, some little cornichon, some anchovies, and if I can balance my act, some mustard here, like that. I am actually worried right now. So for this quantity, 3 or 4 cornichon. Let's call it, you know, a tablespoon chopped. You want a couple of anchovies. This will disappear, it'll just become a wonderful seasoning. One for luck. Happy Christmas. Then we're going to go in with some capers, about a tablespoon there. So they go in, and then I've got some lovely French mustard, straight in there like that. So we're going to whiz this up. I guess salsa verde's got elements of mint sauce. It's got elements of the components of a tartar sauce. Normally what would happen here, in Italy, they'd use a lot of olive oil. So I'm going to use about 3 tablespoons of olive oil when I'd normally use about 8. But then to sort of cheat that texture and the same sort of result, I'm going to nick some broth from that minestrone. And also that little bit of heat is really going to just bring the flavours out of the herbs. We're going to go about a tablespoon of good quality vinegar, white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar, and we're going to mix this up so it starts to look now more like a salsa. Look at that, and we have a little taste up. Oh, the harmony of herbs, vinegar, mustard, little crunches, hum of garlic is just delicious. I'm just going to look in here now. I'm going to nick some of this broth here. It's all boiling away. We've got it to the right consistency now, but also you've got broth, the flavour from here, and that little bit of heat just waking up those herbs. So a wonderful, wonderful little cheat there.
The salsa verde is done. The chicken breasts are cooked so they can come out and rest. Now the final veggies are all that's left to go in to make this hearty soup sing.
Let's get the broccoli into the pan and give it a little stir. What I want to do now is add brightness, colour, sweetness. So I'm going to get about 200 grams of frozen broad beans and 200 grams of lovely little petit pois, little sweet peas. Go in with the broad beans first because they're bigger. Stir it straight in. Get that heat around it. And then the peas, same in with that. Look at the colours. The colours we're going to create now are absolutely beautiful. Almost shocking that we're going to be able to do this in 15 minutes. And then last but not least, we're going to go in with the spinach. And it's going to look like we've literally filled the pan up too much. But then I'll put this lid on top for a final blast of heat. The salsa can go into a lovely little platter here, most of it. I'll just mince that around the plate there. And then on the board here, over the chicken, the salsa verde I'm going to put on top. When things come out of cooking situations, whether it's roasting, grilling, you know, proteins, chicken, any meat, can start to dry up, okay? So we're going to move this around in that lovely flavour. I'm just going to slice it at an angle. Look at that lovely, white, fresh, juicy meat. And of course, you just slice all the way through it, and we've got to the thickest part now. And you can see that there's no pink. It's beautifully cooked. So around 6 to 7.5 minutes, depending on how fast you're boiling, is absolutely perfect.
Layer the chicken onto the salsa verde, add a little boiling water to loosen up the soup.
Let's bang that on there. Gorgeous colours, brightness of spring. And don't forget, we've got all the crispy bits of our bacon and our rosemary, which, you know, with the soft poached chicken, is going to be fantastic.
Sprinkle over a few picked basil leaves and a little parmesan on standby, just to remind you that we're in Italy.
And that is a gorgeous minestrone and the poached chicken with salsa verde. Delicious.
Super-tastic. This one's a lovely 15-minute meal.
That perfume just goes through and it really sends this to another level. Quite elegant little combo and full of so much goodness. 8 veggies in there. Brilliant. Oh, when you put the salsa verde in that soup, it's off the chart. It's so good.
Check out my homemade basil, almond and lemon pesto. Nearly as speedy as a jar of pesto, but you know exactly what's in it. It's not loaded with olive oil and is delicious with green beans and a mishmash of uneven, delicate pasta handkerchiefs. All served up with pan-seared chicken with garlic, rosemary and charred, squidgy cherry tomatoes. This is a perfect supper for 4, and you know how quickly you can cook this in.
I love this dish because it's so nice, it's comforting, it's got those beautiful layers of flavour. So let me show you how to get this chicken cooked nice and quick. So we've got 2 chunky chicken breasts there, about 180 grams each. Obviously you've got the fat end here and a thin end there. So what we want to do is just get it on some greaseproof paper like this and season it up with pepper, some salt, some rosemary and some fennel seeds. And all of this is going to contribute to putting a wonderful flavour in. Like literally, we're going to batter this into the chicken. So you don't have to smash the place up or do anything daft. But I love the fact that the rosemary's getting pushed into it, as are the fennel seeds and the seasoning. You're tenderising it. Just equalise that fat end so it's the same thickness as that thin end. Look at that, OK? As per usual with 15-minute meals, we've got the kettle on, we've got 2 pans on. So I'm going to go into the pan with a couple of tablespoons of rapeseed oil in there. Just lay that in the oil. I've got it on like a medium-high heat, and I'm going to cook that for about 7 to 8 minutes until golden delicious. Just turning every minute just to build up that flavour. Now, one of the things that I definitely want to get in this pan is I want to click in just a few garlic cloves like this. You know, 4, 5, 6. Push them in like that whole. It's going to lightly scent the flavour, so you're going to get a really subtle garlic flavour coming out. And because I'm a little bit of a fruitcake, this isn't really in my recipe, but I like to get a chilli and just score it down the length, turn it, score it down the length again, and then we're going to cook that in the pan because I can. And it's kind of like, it's going to put a little bit of a chilli hum in there, not much, but it's going to cook the chilli inside. And then if you're a bit of a chilli freak like me, you can just take it to the side and spike your dinner separately without upsetting the whole family. That's why I like to do it.
Next up, the veg. I'm using beautiful green beans.
So in Genoa, you know, they have a pesto genovese with some crumbled potato and lovely green beans with tagliatelle and a lovely genovese pesto. So I like that idea of the beans and the pasta. It's a really nice one. So I've got 250 grams of beans here. Just remove all of those stalks, and these beans can go straight into the pan. And then straight away, we've already got our kettle boil. Usually with 15-minute meals, we're not going to wait for water to boil. We'll go straight from the kettle into there. There's nothing worse than rubbery, sort of squeaky beans. So I'm going to cook those for about 4 minutes. So we, 4.5 minutes, and then I'll add pasta to that water, and they'll cook together, and we'll get this whole beautiful dish put together. So let's have a little look what's happening in our pan. Gorgeous. Look at that lovely, lovely flavour. I'm turning that down to a medium. Keep an eye on it. We don't want to rush the chicken. Because we've got the paper, all the skin around that garlic, it's protecting the clove. And garlic's actually quite high in sugar. So if we cook it in the skin, it's going to kind of like intensify that sugar, and you can almost eat them like little sweets, and I just squash them with my fork and have it with a bit of chicken. Really, really nice. While the beans cook away, keep turning that chicken, and now I can make the pesto. I'm using less olive oil than a usual pesto, but making it fresh my way is still super delicious. There's many different types of pesto with different herbs, different nuts, and you know, I'm going to be doing a version that is embracing basil. So I'm going to take some of these aside for garnish later. I'm going to just grab it like that, and these stalks here, there's nothing wrong with. They go straight into our food processor. And then I'm going to go in with 50 grams of blanched almonds and then 50 grams of Parmesan. Go straight into this mixer. We're going to wazz it up. OK, give it a little shake, turn it around. Look at that, beautiful colours. Turn the little garlics around. Take care of those. Lovely. Now, nice little tip here. Often with a pesto, we would enjoy and indulge in humongous amounts of olive oil to loosen that. I'm still going to put some lovely, good quality olive oil in there. About 2 tablespoons is what I'm going to use. But then my little trick to make this a little bit skinnier is just taking a little bit of water from the cooking, right, putting that in. The thing I like about the almonds is when they break up, they go quite silky. And some people say, oh, you should toast almonds or nuts or whatever. But for me, it's too much of a big flavour. It sort of jars with the delicateness of the herbs. So what I'm trying to achieve here is something silky and pungent and tasty that's going to go with my lovely handkerchiefs of pasta. And you'll watch, it'll just go nice and creamy. I'll get a little bit more water. And that's what I'm looking for, right there. OK, let's have a little look in here. Get all of that out there. We've got a lovely colour. It's gone nice and creamy. OK, let's have a taste. Right, delicious, but it needs help. It needs some salt. It needs some pepper. I'm going to go into some lemon. Probably half a lemon here, but probably the juice of a regular small lemon. But we can do it to taste, but we want it to be bright. And also, I want to take a little bit of garlic, just 1 clove, put it in a garlic crusher with the skin on, and just squash that lovely white garlicness out, like that. And that little bit of garlic is going to give it that fantastic, sort of big, garlicky hit. I'm just going to wazz it out 1 more time. Beautiful.
So that's the pesto done. Now there's no time to make homemade pasta in 15 minutes, but I've got a brilliant little cheat to give you a silky soft homemade pasta vibe using fresh lasagna.
What I like about buying these is anyone can buy tagliatelle, anyone can get like the pennes and the farfallis, right? But if we take this sheet, right, and just divide it in 2 and just do random, odd, sort of little slices, right? Almost like little handkerchiefs, really odds and sods, really embrace them being odds and sods. Pick that up and throw that in with our beans. They only take 2.5 minutes to cook, so perfect for 15-minute meals. So we'll shake that, we'll give it a little stir, and we'll let that come to its final resting place. While that happens, just grab about 8 nice tomatoes. The lovely thing about tomatoes is there are some beautiful colours out there, so reds and yellows. Just have a little look at this. I don't want to do anything clever with them. And while that pan is still searing hot with the chicken in it, and the chicken's nearly done now, I can tell it's looking really, really good. You know, like when you make a gravy, you have all the sticky goodness on the bottom of the pan. I'm kind of using the tomatoes just to take flavour from the garlic and the chilli and all the stuff around the chicken. If I just turn this chicken, look at that. Golden, we've got the chilli in there. Give that a little shake, and the water from the tomatoes is coming out and mixing with the oil and doing that little flame. It's gorgeous. So those tomatoes are like cleaning the pan for you, so absolutely gorgeous. The pasta is cooked, the beans are cooked. One last little 30-second thing to do is grab some spinach and dump a nice bag of spinach into this water, and it cooks so quickly that I'm going to stir it for about 2 seconds, and then I'm going to drain it now.
Always keep some of your starchy pasta water, as you will need it. Fold in that delicious pesto, and before the pasta's had a chance to go dry, add your starchy water to loosen up that sauce.
Keeping all those little handkerchiefs of pasta individual and delicate. Oh, it's smelling good now. You know, the Parmesan will start to melt. I can smell the garlic now. That little bit of garlic just made all the difference. Gives it that wonderful hum.
A little season with salt and pepper, and you're ready to plate up. Slice the chicken at an angle to reveal the golden crust and white, juicy breast meat.
Here's my chilli. Don't forget that. That's just going to go to one side, because it's like my little bottle of Tabasco on the table, that is. I'm going to just muck about with that. Jules won't touch it, but I will.
Get those Tommies on, a few shavings of Parmesan, and some lovely picked basil leaves.
There you go. Pasta pesto with beautiful golden chicken. Lovely.
Real fast food in just 15 minutes.
So where do we start? We've got this beautiful chicken here. Really nice. And the tomatoes are so nice when they sort of clean that goodness off. You can just squash them like that. Look at that. And I love those handkerchiefs. So nice. And don't forget the garlic. You know, the nice thing about this garlic is you can just squeeze the garlic out like that, and then you can kind of supercharge your mouthful. There'll be no vampires around here tonight, I'll tell you that now.
Check out this incredibly delicious warm chicken salad. It's one of my family's absolute favourites. Golden succulent chicken breasts with a kick of ground coriander and sprinkled with toasted seeds. Served with nutty char-grilled broccoli and lemon-infused bulgur wheat. Plus, for contrast, cool yogurt, spicy harissa and a side of crunchy smashed radishes. Delicious. This is a feast of multiple flavour-packed elements that come together at the end to make the king of all salads. A perfectly balanced lunch or dinner for four. Hearty, healthy, it can't help but make you feel good, all in just 15 minutes.
Haven't salads changed, eh? All the years of having iceberg and a little lonely bit of cucumber and stuff like that, and now we've got this. OK, this has got a bit of everything. It's full of goodness. Delicious, colourful, lovely hot, crispy chicken in there. We're going to start off with the broccoli. We're going to do something a little bit different with it. My missus absolutely loves this. I'm just going to take the outside skin off the stalk. Everyone normally just carves off the stalk, but actually just take that sort of dry outside part, take it off, and then all we're going to do is cut it into quarters. Just run the knife carefully down the middle, boom, and then down into a quarter. Boom. I'm going to throw this into a pan. I've already pre-boiled my kettle, so the boiling water goes on top, little pinch of salt, and that will start cooking ASAP. So cook that for about 4 minutes, and then I'm going to grill it. Boiled and grilled broccoli, I'm telling you, is delicious. And when you start tossing in beautiful oils and vinegars and stuff like that, it's going to blow your socks off. So the first bit done. The second bit is our chicken. I've got a really simple but completely effective seasoning for the chicken. Just get yourself a nice little sheet of greaseproof paper, like that. I've got lovely chicken breasts here, about 120 grams each, so not massive. Season the paper and the chicken from a height with salt and pepper, of course, and ground coriander. Get a nice heaped teaspoon, and I'm just going to move it around like this in the salt and the pepper, and it's going to create sort of like an outside layer, a sort of bark, a golden bark. So you're going to have that nice crispy outside and the lovely juicy inside. The lovely thing about the coriander
powder is it's not over the top. It's not like cumin that punches you around. You go, whoa, what just happened there? Oh, it's taken over my chicken. It's perfumed, it's delicate. It's going to have a real kind of dark, contrasty outside and beautiful, juicy white flesh on the inside. And also, we've taken the skin off of this. So, you know, by taking the skin off of it, it's healthier, but also that lovely coriander, sort of salt and pepper outside, you won't be missing it at all. So once you've done that, just move this around, put the greaseproof over it, and you know, just use your fist. So just give them a thump. It's going to tenderise it, and it's going to push that seasoning onto it. Flatten them out. A couple of tablespoons of olive oil go in, and then just take the chicken, in it goes. It's going to be crisp and gorgeous.
Leave your chicken to cook for roughly 4 minutes before turning, when it's lovely and golden. Now I've got a screaming hot griddle pan, and the broccoli is boiled. So time to transform it into something special.
Just let that drain, give it a beat, and then I'm going to place it onto this griddle pan. We want to char this broccoli. You want to put a good old bar mark across it, and it's going to change the flavour of the broccoli. It's going to be slightly more nutty. So you've got the two flat sides, push it all down. It's going to be properly lovely. Broccoli's on. I'm going to use something that I absolutely love. It's bulgur wheat. You can get it everywhere. I just need about 200 grams going in to a pan. I'm going to use the broccoli water because it's really full of good stuff already. This takes about 8 minutes in a fast boil to cook, so it's nice and quick. The other secret ingredient that's going to just bring the life into this dish is salted lemons. These particular lemons are just so unbelievable. Do you remember fruit salad sweets? It's kind of got that puckerness about it, but it also sort of, it's a bit like cheap perfume. You know what I mean? It sounds terrible, but it's really, really good. We'll put the lid on top. We've got the chicken. Let's have a little look at the chicken. Look at that. Coriander powder. If you haven't got some, go and get it. Oh, really, really good.
So the chicken's looking good, and the bulgur wheat and broccoli are well on their way. Next, I want a lovely little sidekick to bring some fresh, cool contrast to this warm, comforting salad.
I'm trying to sort of make friends with the radish. I feel a bit sorry for them. They haven't really been used to their full of potential. So what I want to do is just crush them. A crushed radish salad, quite generous on the vinegar. So it's almost kind of like a pickled onion. You know, you want that crunch, you want that hit of acid. Get your radishes, just take the tops off. Just literally crush them. What we're doing is, it looks rustic. I like something about the way it sort of bursts, because when you start putting dressing around it and stuff like that, it sort of sticks to it in a really beautiful way. So in a bowl, a couple of tablespoons of good extra virgin olive oil and red wine vinegar. You could use a sherry wine vinegar as well. You want just about maybe 3 tablespoons of the vinegar. You want to be a little bit more generous, and shake that about. Beautiful colour. Nice pinch of salt and pepper. I'm going to use some mint. Just get half a bunch and just simply go like that. And then just to sort of offset the radish, I want some spring onions, OK? So about 2 is fine for me. Just do the best you can to finely slice it. And to be honest, this is a really easy recipe, so we're completely in time. Let's have a look at this broccoli here. And that's what we're after, these lovely little bar marks, which are really nice. It's going to completely change the flavour. Just turn it around onto the other side. And I think, you know, Jules loves this salad just because it's kind of got everything, but it's also like, you know, it's really, really good for you. It's a real harmony of veg and the carbs and the protein. It's just like a kind of perfect meal, really. The spring onions we put into here, and we have a nice little toss-up. Absolutely beautiful. Lovely little radish salad. The broccoli is looking rock star. On the inside, the broccoli is soft and sort of boiled as per usual. But then on the outside, we've created this toasted, charred sort of effect. And of course, that in itself is not a pleasure. But when you start tossing it in beautiful things, oil, vinegar or lemon juice, a little bit of seasoning, having it with bulgur, we're going to have it with harissa and yogurt and beautiful chicken. Ah,
All right, I get it. It all makes sense now. So that's looking good.
So we're nearly there. My bulgur is now cooked, ready to be drained and served onto a platter. Just like rice, it should be soft but still hold its shape.
See these lemons here, if I just push them to the side, they're really tender right now, but also incredibly delicious. So literally just mush them. And the fragrance from that is just off the chart. And then just fold that back in to the bulgur. So you're gonna have this incredible flavour going through. So that's just steaming like a good one. I just want to put sunflower seeds, a couple of tablespoons, put them in and around the pan. They'll take literally 30 seconds to warm back up, toast back up, get all the natural oils going, soak up some of the flavour from the bottom of that pan, from the chicken. The broccoli here, let's just distribute that in and around like that. Let's have a look at the chicken here. Gorgeous colour, have a look at that. But we've got attitude and Moorishness and caramelisation. It's looking damn good. So I'm just going to pop them onto this board. If you can, I'm not trying to be chefy or anything like that, get your chicken breast, get your knife, sharp knife, and just carefully slice at an angle. And that way, can you see the beautiful contrast of the chicken inside and outside? And I think that's going to really get people's taste buds going. Distribute that across the plate, and that's one hell of a salad, come on.
Scatter over the rest of the seeds and add some cool freshness with some zero-fat yoghurt.
I've got a lovely rose harissa, classic Moroccan fare. It's not super hot, it's got a nice fragrance to it, which is good.
For those final touches, serve with some lemon wedges and add a little bit of cress to your radish salad.
Ain't like it used to be, is it? Gorgeous. Chicken, veggies, something a bit different, but dead tasty.
Easy peasy, an incredibly delicious healthy chicken salad in only 15 minutes.
Oh my Lord, that is so good. Oh, with the broccoli, of course, that charredness puts a whole different dimension on the salad. But when you start putting a little bit of yoghurt and the seeds and a little bit of chicken with it, it just works. And I think that's what salad's about, sort of surprising people with how many different flavours and textures and looks you can get on one plate. And that's exactly what it does.